It's March 12th, 2023. So, for a second, just imagine that we're friends. Some of you might actually be friends with me in real life, but imagine that we're friends. And you come to me and you ask me for a movie recommendation. And I say, oh yeah, I watched this movie Invincible last week about this football player and it was really good. You should check it out. And you go and check it out and you watch it and we have this cool shared experience now and we can talk about it. Now compare that with going to Netflix and just having recommendations thrown at you on Netflix. Now on the surface, those things might seem very similar. Like you're gonna watch a movie either way. What difference does it make whether you get the recommendation from me or from Netflix? But there is a big difference because Netflix just uses an algorithm. And an algorithm only relies on data and statistical models based on your past choices, and it doesn't take into account a lot of other factors. See, people think algorithms and artificial intelligence they're so amazing and they're gonna surpass human intelligence soon and all this stuff, and it's like, no, they're not even close. Because when I recommend something to you, I'm taking into consideration so many other things. I might be making a moral judgment. Is this movie good based on a moral standpoint? Does it teach a good lesson, or is it going to corrupt your worldview? I'm suggesting it based on my own personal experience, what I thought about the movie. I'm basing it on maybe even connection with you. Like I'm suggesting it because I want to create an interpersonal connection with you. Based on this movie we can watch together and then share thoughts on it with each other. Netflix can't do any of that. Netflix can't make moral judgments. It doesn't connect with you. It's just an algorithm that relies on statistical data. It figures out what you're most likely to watch, and then as long as your eyeballs are there, it doesn't care. Algorithms just simply can't do all the other things humans can do. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. This is going to be a very important video. I actually took notes here because I want to remember all the different points about this that I want to talk about. It might be a little longer than my usual ones. I don't know. This is important because basically what algorithms do is they make decisions for us. And we're handing over so many of our decisions to AI and algorithms. Things that normally humans would decide are now being delegated to these algorithms and statistical models. And that can be dangerous. Like, because these models can't do a lot of the things the human brain can. They can't make moral judgments and all of these different things. I mean, think about that dilemma that's so brought up in philosophy classes all the time. Like there's 100 people on the train tracks with the train heading towards them, and there's one person on the other side, and if you pull the lever, it will divert the train and kill the one person and save the 100. And if we're relying on an algorithm, the algorithm is always going to choose the 100 because just statistically it makes more sense. But it doesn't take into account anything else. What if the one person had a secret solution to save the world? And the 100 were like Nazi murderers. An algorithm doesn't take those things into account. It just says, statistically, this is the thing you should do. Humans can make judgments. And I'm not saying that's easy, but if we just delegate it to an algorithm, that's dangerous, because they might start making decisions that seem good on the surface, but actually hurt us in the long run. But that's not the only thing I want to talk about regarding algorithms. As a filmmaker and a creative type of person, I want to look at them in terms of like creative platforms and how they work, because that's what all these creative platforms utilize to share content with other people. It's YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and these creative platforms all use algorithms to suggest content. And it's so easy as a creator to give into the temptation to try and make content that will beat the algorithm, rather than making content that's just creatively good. These algorithms reward certain types of things. And so for me, as a video editor, I have tons of experience with editing, and so I notice creative editing decisions. And as I watch YouTube, I see trends in the way videos are edited. Right now, when people are talking on camera, there's a lot of like these jump cuts. There's no pauses, no breathing in between words. It's just word after word after word after word. And they use these bold, like colorful subtitles and sound effects and like flashing images quickly that relate to the thing. And there's nothing wrong with using that style of editing, but I can just tell there's a trend where it's happening in most videos. And so I can tell that creators are doing that and making the decision to include that type of editing in their videos based on trying to beat the algorithm. And so that might not seem like a big deal, but it's sacrificing authenticity and creativity in order to beat the algorithm. It's sacrificing decisions you would like to make for decisions that will get you likes. And I'm guilty of it. I've done that in the past. I've been the guy, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell and hit the thumbs up. Smash that thumbs up. It's like in every video. And I mean, you get the advertisements right in the middle, product pitches, right? Today, this video is sponsored by skincare product and VPN blah, 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 blah. That's why in these videos right now, I'm just trying to be authentic and leave the videos unedited. Like whatever comes out of my mouth, that's what stays. And sometimes I'll have pauses where I have to think about what I'm going to say. Or maybe I'm just doing it for effect. See, that's another thing that happens when you start making decisions to beat the algorithm. You're just kind of copy and pasting what other people are doing, what's successful, rather than having to strive and struggle to create something that's actually good, striving for excellence. Just imagine a public speaker versus someone who's talking on YouTube. A public speaker, if they're giving a speech, they have to know their material inside and out. They have to learn how to speak. They incorporate pauses on purpose. They have to walk around the stage to take up space and all these different techniques. And if they make a mistake, they just have to roll with it. A YouTuber can just be like, oh, I made a mistake, cut it out, done. Oh, we'll just throw some image over it and make a sound effect in there so you can't hear that little weird the sound I made. See, it's that sacrifice of creativity, but it's also sacrificing the very thing that's making you a better person. Just imagine there's two people taking a test, and let's say it's for to become a paramedic. And the one person learns all the material. They take their time studying, they research things, they practice with flashcards and whatever, and they learn all of the stuff really well, and they get an A on their exam. Now imagine there's another person, and that person finds the answer sheet and just memorizes the answers and then takes the test and also gets an A. And they don't get caught. They get an A. So both these people, they're both successful. And they both graduate and they become paramedics. Now imagine one day there's a shooting and you get shot and you're laying on the ground bleeding out to death and probably going to die pretty soon if you don't get help. Which one of those two people would you want to come pick you up? You know it's the first person who learned the material. Because that striving, that effort that they had to do to put in there is what made them good enough to be able to treat you. And so it's the same thing with creatives. Instead of learning good storytelling techniques, if you just copy and paste, bam, 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 cool edits, blah, 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 it gets me all these likes, instead of learning the stuff by struggle, you're not going to know it when it matters. And so this also has consequences for the user, the people who are viewing social media. One, they're tending to get a whole bunch of uncreative, unoriginal content. The news feed or video feed or whatever it is tends to get narrower and narrower. It becomes more singular in the type of stuff that you see. And you have a lot of clones. There's literally people, there's all these reaction videos. Reaction videos are a huge trend right now. But oftentimes it's literally someone just ripping someone else's video and then recording their facial expressions as that video plays, and then getting millions of views off of it and becoming super popular and blowing up on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. And yet they didn't come up with anything new. It just copy paste. So you're getting a lot more of that. And the people who are original and who are still trying to make good creative content, they kind of get lost in this sea of all of this stuff. And it's created by these algorithms. And oftentimes, the stuff that you're getting in your feed, and just even that word feed, right? Our minds are very much like our stomachs. I don't know if you know this, but our stomachs have all these nerve endings and things, and that's why if something's about to happen, you can get that gut feeling. That's because there's all these nerve endings and stuff in your stomach. So our stomachs and our minds are very similar. And so what you feed your stomach changes the makeup of your body and how it works and how it functions. It's the same thing with your mind. The things you feed your mind change your mind and how it works. And so that's that word feed, right? It's in everything. News feed on Facebook or TikTok feed, video feed. It's always feed because it's what you're feeding your mind. And the stuff that these algorithms suggest, it's not the meat and vegetables of internet content. It's like the donuts and the ice cream. And it's like you're just like a dog who, as long as food is in front of it, it's going to eat. So its master puts food in front of it and it's just like, you know, and then it eats so much and then it vomits. And then the master puts more food in front of it and just, right? You're just feeding and feeding. You know, a lot of teenagers report that they're on social media almost constantly. It's like that dog. And it's even like Pavlov's dog, if you know that psychological experiment where they ring the bell and then give the dog food, and then they ring the bell later and the dog starts to salivate even when the food's not there. The little notification symbol for all of these different media platforms is a bell. It's like, hit the notification bell, right? You get the notification and it's like, oh, time to feed. So you're getting junk food. You're getting short-term satisfaction over long-term wisdom. And the algorithms, they don't care what you get. They're not accountable to anyone. That's why you get these trends of stealing a car on TikTok or choking yourself until you black out, and then some kids do it and die because of some stupid TikTok trend. But who's accountable? The algorithm isn't accountable. It's just an algorithm. It's a machine learning model. It can't make value judgments. It can't make moral judgments. That's if there was something, a contest for like these trendy type of things, and humans were just holding a contest somewhere at a fair or something, the humans would say, you know what? That thing's not safe. We probably shouldn't have it in our contest. It's stupid. And even just beyond being stupid, there's a liability to it, right? If someone gets hurt doing this thing, then the people who held the contest are going to be liable. But an algorithm isn't liable for anything. It's not accountable to anyone. And even whether something's just good or not, algorithms promote the things that get the most views. It doesn't matter if it's good, like genuinely good. Humans can make judgments like that. They can say, okay, it's morally good. It has a good storyline. It taught me something. It's something that was actually entertaining. Like, algorithms can't make all of the different judgments necessary to decide whether something's even just good or not in an excellent sort of way, not even in a moral way, but like, is this excellent? Algorithms don't care what you view as long as they have your attention. It's all about attention. Attention is an extremely valuable commodity these days, because if you have someone's attention, you can influence them. That's why it's influencers all over the internet. They're trying to get people's attention. And that's why they do stupid things in order to get that attention. They'll do whatever it takes to get someone's attention. If it means running naked through a stadium, they'll do it to get someone's attention. If it's lying and deceiving people and pranks and doing things that are just stupid, they'll do it to get attention. An algorithm doesn't care whether something's an artistic masterpiece that's going to move you and teach you something and actually make you a better person because of the lessons you learn, or whether something's just mindless garbage that rots your brain. As long as it has your eyeballs, has your attention. Algorithms eliminate diversity, and they drive us into a more singular worldview. An algorithm will say, oh, you like this thing, I'll suggest more of it. You're going to watch this? Oh, here you go, you can have more of it. And then you watch more of it, and it's like, oh, yep, you still like it, we're going to give you even more and more and more of that, until you get into these very like niche pigeonhole topics, and you're stuck there in this echo chamber, and that's all you get is this very singular worldview. You're not really experiencing other people. It may seem like that because you can watch videos from all over the world. But because these algorithms are suggesting what you watch, you're getting pigeonholed, and you're not seeing different perspectives. And so for all of these reasons, algorithms are just very dangerous. And look, I know they're not going away. They're here to stay, and they may even do some good. Like, I can see how an algorithm could help in healthcare, something like that. They'll probably do a lot of really good things, solve a lot of problems. But there's definitely dangers to them. And so my goal here isn't to say, oh, you should stop using anything with an algorithm and just try and eliminate it and go live in a cabin in the woods and hunt your food. And like, no, I realize that's unrealistic. We have to live in the world we're in. But I hope that this provides you with an understanding of how these things work and what they're doing to us and how they do it. So that's all I got for today. Peace.